Well, good morning, everybody. This is Dr. Tom Schlueter with this week's Tom's Take. You know, it always amazes me with our technology. I was just leaving the house and going out to my truck, and I pull my fob out of my pants, out of my pocket, and hit that little thing, and the truck opens up. It's not quite as fancy as the last truck that I had, same design, but I didn't get included that whole thing where you push the next fob and it starts the engine. Just a simple push on a button. We've been doing a lot of traveling here lately, and it's always amazing to me that where you used to have a physical key, now you just have a plastic card that you go to your room and place it on the door, and the door unlocks. There are other hotels where you can do the same thing. You don't even need the plastic. It's all done by just holding your phone up to it because you've been given a digital readout. I remember many times, not many times, I think it's happened a couple of times. It's late at night. We've been in ministry all night. Come back to the hotel and go to our room, swipe that thing, swipe it. It's not working. And find out that somehow it just is not working. Maybe it got magnetized or something, and so you got to go back to the desk and get it taken care of. But there's been a couple of occasions where late at night after ministry, I've come up to my hotel room and I am ready to go in, ready to get to bed, and it's not working, and I'm thinking, what is going on here? And then I look up, oh, right room number, but wrong floor. You got to have the right key for the right door or the right floor. Keys are extremely important. What amazes me about keys, and most of us have keys in our pocket, most of us have keys in our purse. We know exactly which every key goes to and how important it is. But many times we don't even have keys anymore, physical keys. Again, I enter my house and I've got a digital code that I have to pump in order to open up the door. But what's amazing about all of these examples is it just takes the punching in of a code, the hitting of a button on a key fob, placing a plastic card up against the door, or maybe in old days just inserting the key and turning it like I did with my office door here a moment ago. Keys are a very simple instrument, and they hold great power in the fact that they open up that which is locked, or they lock that which needs to be closed. Keys are extremely important to me, not just because of the season that we're in as the ecclesia, but because of who I am. I remember years and years ago, I think I had just gotten out of college. Kay and I were getting married, and my mom had made a needlepoint of our family crest, the Schlueter family. And it's a beautiful crest of a star on a shield, and then there's this lion kind of raised up on its haunches, and in its hand it has a key. I just was really thrilled with it. Mom said, well, you need to read what our name means, because up until that point, I had not been told what our name, Schlueter, meant. In Germany, it would be Schluter, because it would have the umlaut over the U. But it's an occupational name. And when I read it, it was really intriguing to find out that my name means keeper of the keys of the prison. I've always jested about that. At least it's not the one who is in prison. But keys are very important to me. Matter of fact, I have keys all over my office, all over our house. Keys that I've picked up in antique stores, keys that have been given to me by friends that they felt were very significant. For instance, you'll know that St. Thomas went to India after the resurrection and after Pentecost. And one of my good friends, Peggy, went to India just a few years ago. And there in one of the antique stores in the town, in the city, that they all believe is where Thomas entered into India, she found an old rusty key to a large gate. And she brought it to me. Keys are significant. Another key that I was able to pick up, it's not the actual one, but it is a copy of the key that opens up the main doors to Independence Hall in Philadelphia. Keys have such a specific and powerful function. And it's interesting that we don't have to really try to explain or figure out what that key is for. A key is for the purpose of opening or closing, locking or unlocking. It is for the simple purpose of acting as an agent to make sure that something is either now brought out into the open or closed down and locked. It's that simple. So when we talk about keys, we realize that we need to utilize the keys that have been given to us as the ecclesia to simply use them as their function. I'm going to vary a little bit off course here from where I am with keys for just a moment, because on our prayer call this morning, we were talking about the need to be very specific and precise and powerful in the words and decrees that we speak on behalf of God, not out of my own opinion, not out of my own explanation, but out of God, and how that is much like an arrow being placed in the bow and being shot out. You don't add a lot of stuff to it. You don't add weight to it. You allow the arrow to do what the arrow was intended to do, and you don't have to explain to the arrow what its purpose is when it gets there, because the Word of God will decree what needs to be done, and it will be accomplished by the power of Him behind it. That's the same thing with a key. I will use a key, and the power that I have behind it in opening up that door, unlocking it, and going in to where I need to go in, it is a simple process. I don't have to explain it. I don't have to give testimony of it. I just need to do it, because God has given us that authority. Now, you probably know many of the texts that we could use, at least two very primary texts that are very important for this season. We hear them all the time, hear them especially from Dutch Sheets. Isaiah 22:22. He's speaking about Eliakim and how the key of David will be put on his shoulder. That's a key of authority. It's a key of access. It is a key that opens doors that nobody else can open and closes doors that nobody else can close. And then, of course, there is the passage in Matthew 16. Just listen to it here in the Passion. He says, I give you the name Peter, a stone, and on this rock will be a bedrock foundation on which I will build my church, my legislative assembly, and the power of death will not be able to overpower it. I will give you the keys of heaven, heaven's kingdom. I will give you the keys of heaven's kingdom to forbid on earth that which is forbidden in heaven, and to release on earth that which is released in heaven. The power of holding a key. Many times we need to remember that when we proclaim a word like I just did out of Matthew 16, God's power is behind that word to carry out the purpose of the key. We can decree things that have been prophetically or in a revelatory way released to us, and we can decree those, and they will carry out their purpose. A key has the strength in itself to unlock and to lock. It just needs to be turned. You know, I don't walk up to a door and say, okay, hotel room, I want to let you know something. I want to tell you what the purpose of a key is. I want to tell you and explain to you why I need to get into this room, because I've been ministering long and I need to get in that room so I can get ready for bed and have a nice sleep. And we can stand out in the hallway talking to that door for 5-10 minutes if we wanted to. And the door is just there. And it will be until we take out the key and touch the pad and enter. That's all that was required. That's all that was required. Please acknowledge, if you will, today, and I say acknowledge because we need to know this. There is a distinction between believing something and knowing something, because true faith, I believe, comes in knowing that which we cannot see. We need to know that God has given each of us as members of His legislative body for the kingdom realm, the ecclesia. He's given us as sons and daughters of the Most High God. He's given us as ambassadors of His kingdom the keys of the kingdom. The keys of kingdom's heaven realm, in order to unlock the promises of God and bring forth that which needs to be brought forth, or to lock down that which needs to be locked down. I've had the occasion, I think now 4 or 5 times, to journey to a place in Israel. As you walk up to it, it's beautiful. River flowing over a small dam, trees blowing in the breeze. It's just a wonderful place to be. And then you look around and start examining what is around the area as far as the landscape, and you see this cliff, and in the cliff you see this kind of a cave that is a natural cave that is a part of that cliff. And as you walk up to that cave, you can see that it has a pit in it that no one knows where it goes. It's Caesarea Philippi. It's what is called the gates of hell. Last night, and I don't want to give away any details here, but Kay and I were able to go to season 4, episodes 1 through 3 of The Chosen. And my heart was pumping with thrill and passion and strength, because as one of the stories in this one is Jesus arriving there at Caesarea Philippi with his disciples. But it's not what it looks like now. They had literally constructed a temple to the god Pan. They were sacrificing on the altar. You could see the evil that was being permeated from that temple as people gaudily dressed and chanting anti-God purposes. And the disciples saying, "Lord, why did you bring us here?" Because I need to give you a key. I need to give you a key which will lock up the gates of hell. Don't be afraid of those gates. Don't be afraid of the chaos. Don't be afraid of the hellish schemes around you. I've given you a key to lock it up, and then to open up the very promises, the very purposes, the very destiny of who I am in this world, in this state of Texas, and in this nation. You've been given a key. Use it. Blessings to all of you.